first person who testified.
Thank you. Representative O'Neill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I really appreciate everybody being
Could you
here.
bring the mic just a little bit closer to, you can sit right in front
I'm
of
not
it.
loud enough. That's not usually what I
There we
do. So I'm gonna read a little bit and then try to interject on myself here too. I wrote The Great Deflection. I've read this so many times that I think I know it by heart by now, the report from OPEGA. In my opinion, I've been a daycare provider for 23 years.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but just for the record, can you please state your name and where you are from?
Betsy Grant, and I'm from the Ellsworth area.
Thank you.
Yes. The predictive risk was apparent from birth when Haley Goading entered this world while her mother tested positive for oxycodone on January 29th, 2018. The hospital called the department on that day, and after this call was made to the department, in the short life of 3 years, 5 more separate calls were made with concerns about Hillary and for Haley's safety. And it seems that not a lot was done except for short-term safety plans. From what I've read, I haven't seen that a judge was ever petitioned. I could be wrong. Maybe it did go to a judge for removal, but I didn't see that in there. And it just, in what I've noticed about the department, obviously we've all talked about training, but the gullibility of some caseworkers, I think it would be the caseworkers, but it's not just them. It's a group that makes the decisions. As far as I know, I've been told that caseworkers do not make decisions on their own, which is good. They have a team, but just the lies in itself that I noticed from Ms. Goading at the hospital when Haley was born. I believe she was in her 20s. I think she was either 25 or 26. And she tested positive for illicit drugs right then. Months later, in September, when Haley was only 8 months old, another call came in about her leaving a 5-year-old that she was watching unattended at a beach. And the department got involved, investigated that. And Ms. Goading in that itself says that she hasn't used illicit drugs since she went to rehab at the age of 15. I mean, that statement right there just indicates that she's probably covering up her drug use. To me, that would be a very high risk. I see everything that I've read in here as high risk. Everything from the soda cans, I can't even get away from that, as it might not be evidence that you can prove, but it seems like indirect evidence should be used too to assess whether it's a high risk situation or not. And I see it as being very high risk the whole way through. And also there's, I think, 6 mandated reporters that I've seen that's been involved, whether it's someone from the hospital, somebody else that called, I think it was, it could have been a police department. It seemed that there was mandated reporters that have called, and the only mandated reporter that seems to be taken very seriously was Ms. Goading's friend from the playground, and just because she works at a school. And I feel like the mandated reporter issue is really concerning with the department. And I know that as a mandated reporter myself, we're scared to make that call to begin with. My biggest fear is that when I call about the safety of a child, that if CPS does go make a visit, of course, the abuser is going to lie because they're going to try to cover up whether it's drug abuse or child abuse or neglect. Typically, they try to cover their tracks so they don't get in trouble. And I think Ms. Goading even states that at the very end, that the reason why she didn't call right away in June of 2021 was because she was fearful of the department's intervention. So we are nervous when we call that the child is going to be in more harm's way after the visit has taken place, especially after nothing is found and the department doesn't do anything. That child is definitely in a higher jeopardy. And we're also nervous because of our own confidentiality could be exposed, whether the department does it itself. It's pretty easy sometimes for people to figure out who made a call on them. And we're also fearful that we're not believed when we call. And when you're telling the truth and you're not believed, it's one of the most painful things. I even have a rule at daycare: always believe the child. Well, if you've got two kids and one saying he took a toy and the other one saying he took the toy, you believe both of them, because it's better to, you'll catch one eventually, but to not believe someone telling the truth is just emotionally, it's mentally anguishing to not be believed. And that happens often. And sometimes we do receive retaliation ourselves when we call. So that's pretty much what I've been thinking about for the past. And I feel bad for the people that had made these calls. The person that called about the beach, the soda cans, the other incident. Oh, the firearm. To me, a firearm anyway, I wouldn't even need actual proof of a firearm. You've got a mentally, a person with mental disabilities, history of drug abuse, and now you have a firearm. I don't know what else more you would need to know that this Haley is going to have a very dangerous environment with her mother.
Thank you. There will be some questions, if you
No,
don't mind.
good.
Chair recognizes Senator Bennett.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grant, for coming with your excellent testimony. Very helpful. I just received this document here.
Thank you for,
And
I only had 6. Sorry.
well, I'm grateful that I was one of those that got one. I just wanted to follow up on the issue of mandated reporters that you talk about. This is a really difficult spot for people to be in, and basically the state is saying we're relying on you to help us do our
You
jobs.
get fined if you don't.
And then this, just to be clear about number 2 on your page here, the first page of your list of misconduct, it says you're talking about being retaliated against.
Yes.
Do you view that you have this line to receive a violation of an incomplete incident report after calling 3 separate times for a particular child? Is that the retaliation that you're referring to, that you were?
This has nothing to do with the Haley case, though.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah.
asking about, was this what you're talking about as the retaliation?
Yeah.
Was this filing of an incomplete incident report? Could you just tell us a little bit more about
Yes,
that
I would love to.
situation?
If you're a
Thank you.
mandated reporter and you call, it's hard to do because you're calling for a very uncomfortable, unhealthy situation because it has to do with the safety of a child. So you've made that call. We don't get to find out if there was follow-up. So I've learned that I'm going to call again. And for this particular child, I called 3 times. And the caseworker told me, because it was already an open case. So she told me that the mother was spending more time at home with the child and that not to worry. And then within the week, it's in the news. I think I attached the news article to that too. And he was left overnight in the vehicle and almost died. But that was 3 years ago. And this mom made a complete recovery, and I love her dearly. So it can work out when you take the right steps. But the retaliation is I got written up for an incomplete incident report, which I don't understand because it didn't happen on my time and I'm the one that called.
You say that again? You what?
I got written up for an incomplete incident report regarding the 1-year-old that was left overnight in the vehicle.
Can you elaborate on that? What did they say was incomplete about your report?
I didn't have a parent's signature on it. And I'm trying to say that I don't want all the parents to know that I call on them
A
when I
parent's
call them.
signature on what?
on an incident report,
So it's required under our regulations.
because I'm a childcare provider.
Right, I understand that part, but it's required that you get the parent's signature of the person that you might be reporting
That's what. my
on a
violation
sheet of paper?
Mhm.
That seems really surprising to me, if that's the case.
It's definitely the case.
And
Well, I'd like to follow up, not with you, Ms. Grant. I appreciate you bringing this to attention, but this is kind of a significant.
I'm just wondering if for information for us to have, is that by rule or statute or both? I am a little perplexed as well. Before I take another question from the committee, I just want to read into the record the headers of the document that you submitted to the committee for anyone who may be watching or listening online. Ms. Betsy Grant has given us a document that says, please see the following list of misconduct by our licensor, and I do have a separate timeline for each of these offenses. 1, abuse of authority during state of emergency. 2, mandated reporters are ignored and retaliated against. 3, intentional misrepresentation and defamation. 4, mishandling of federal funds. 5, investigation incompetence / obstruction. And 6, insurance fraud by DHHS. Those are the headlines of the document we have received, which will be in the public record as soon as they can be. The chair recognizes Senator Timberlake.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if Senator Bennett was done, because he's a much better attorney than I am. He was doing a
I'm
great
not
job.
an attorney. Please don't cast that.
Thank you, Ms. Grant, for being here. I really do appreciate it. And Senator Bennett got to the crux of what my question was going to be, is the retaliation piece, and why, but to take it a step further, what do you think we need to do about it? What do you think our job is at some point to report back to how we cure the retaliation? I mean, the department's going to tell us that they don't retaliate. I'm going to hear that. But what's going to help us to say, well, the parent signature thing just shocked me. So I'm taken aback by it.
That's a hard one to do.
So I'm asking for your suggestions of what do you think that the department should be doing different other than the retaliation? We know they shouldn't be retaliating, but there's got to be something in that report that you write that doesn't allow them to retaliate.
Well, there's no due process. I can't complain about DHS unless I complain to DHS. So what I have been working on for quite a while is having each county have an independent accountability board, which would serve many functions. It's kind of like place-based approach. All of our counties are very different. Some have access to more mental health counseling or detox centers, and some don't even have any. So I have a lot of ideas. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of other people that want to testify, so I can talk about that all day, all week. But due process, definitely an issue.
I'd love to have you, for the record, we could ask her to put those ideas on paper and have them sent to us, because I think it's very important for all of us sitting around this.
People are already. Too.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no. There's an LR out there now.
Marion Moore is working with me.
Okay. But we'd just like to hear what those are and what your thoughts are down there, because I think all of us are open for every suggestion that's coming before us.
And the misrepresentation, that's a common practice too, because if you can discredit someone that keeps speaking up about the problems, then usually a childcare provider, they can't your whole business is based on trust. You know, my husband's a chef. His business is on food. And if you tell him it's too salty, he's going to argue. But that's just an opinion. Mine is based on, I mean, if you don't like his food, then don't order his food and go somewhere else. My business is based on trust. And if you have a bad review on, well, the department has its own website. And I believe that the violations that get put on that, they need to be valid. And quite often I have a list of 17 pages of violations on the website. But 18 days prior, I had 0 violations. So there's definitely an out of balance situation that happens in the department.
Thank you. Interesting.
Yeah.
The
Well
chair-
noted.
And also having subcontracted child abuse experts. They need to evaluate the child within a reasonable time frame. And this is another example, but I had one evaluated 69 days after a supposed event happened. And the child abuse expert doctor only looked at the pictures supplied by a parent that was a professional photographer. So I asked if they checked the photos for authenticity, and they didn't, so I did it myself, and those photos were definitely enhanced. So
Just one more
You
quick.
may proceed.
Did if you pick a call into the DHHS with that you need help, what has been your experience on that call back to you? Do they get right back to you immediately, or is it,
no, not
or is
always.
it a day or
But
2
I did
days?
just do one within the month, and I spoke to someone immediately. But the issue did not get the attention it deserved.
All right, thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Tucson, followed by Representative Arata.
I thank you very much for coming forward, and thank you to Ms. Ortega. I overthink about process, and I want to understand, it might be a question for the OPEGA staff later, so I just want to kind of put a pin in it so I can find out later if there's a process for finding out what the department's criteria are for constructing a incident report, and whether incomplete report is in that criteria, and then what criteria are there for determining that something's incomplete. I'm just saying that there should be a way for us to audit the process issues without requiring this particular witness to produce a document that proves that this is a possibility in the process. And the other piece, I wonder if we can get information either through our OPEGA staff or maybe through the ombudsman, is what the criteria within the department process is for determining that a licensee is compliant or non-compliant. What are the check boxes that are used to determine it a licensee is non-compliant? So I raise these questions as an opportunity for us to audit the process as a system to system audit versus putting a complainant in the position of needing to interrogate the process.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes Representative Arata.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to follow up with that question, I was wondering if you or somebody in the office could provide us with a copy of the form where the signature is required. You must have a form that you have to fill out in order to file a report. Also, I have a question about the x-rays. I don't understand why there was an x-ray. Was there an accident at your facility? Why are you paying for x-rays?
Fraud
Who?
that I'm referring to.
Right, but for it to be insurance fraud, who was receiving care?
Apparently the child in daycare, and my insurance had to pay. It was only $1,100, but it was an unnecessary test.
So your insurance had to pay because there was an injury?
There wasn't one.
If there wasn't an injury, then why?
Exactly.
I mean, I
Photos were
guess-
supplied that,
So the parent claimed there was an injury
Yeah.
and that you were liable.
yes, because I terminated the parent in retaliation. So that's another form of retaliation, but what I'm referring to in there is retaliation from the department itself.
Okay, I guess that clears it up. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Blyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mrs. Grant, for being here today. So first question I have is, how long have you been dealing with DAHHS in your
Over 2 decades.
over 2 decades? Can you, has it always been the way it's been? Has it gotten worse? Has it gotten better?
It's gotten much worse in the last 5 years.
So you'd say, so 6, 7 years ago, it was okay in the
It was
last,
beginning. I was starting to see.
so within the last 5 years, what do you think the change was that made it worse?
The change for me is because I started raising questions about security. I started arguing about the lack of security requirements in childcare settings. And I got written up for my security standard that I wrote myself. And I won't change it. And that started a combative relationship between me and the department.
So you questioning the department then that basically you're saying they retaliated against you, made your life difficult.
Yes.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one other piece here under number 3, intentional misrepresentations and defamation. I was wondering if you could answer what became. Well, let me read it here. It says 18 days later, when a new investigator came for a false CPS report, a full 17 pages worth of violations was issued. Notably, my licensing specialist resigned within 24 hours after I sent a letter to refute these 17 pages of inaccurate violations. Are those 17 pages still on your record?
You can go on the website and check it. It's on
So
the
there was
childcare choices.
somebody left, we don't know why. Maybe suspicious timing, whatever, but those 17. Did you ever receive a communication from the department in response
Oh,
to
yeah.
the 17 pages of, or to your questioning the accuracy of that?
Yes, I have exhausted my right to continue to talk about it with them.
What does that mean exactly? You've exhausted your right.
I don't know. I
Is this what you were told?
Yes, I have the emails.
So they responded to you by saying that you no longer have a right to talk with your agency.
Yes, as far as I can't review any more of my investigations, which I do have the right to do that. And I also don't have a right to have a hearing because no action was taken on my license. I just got these violations on the website, meaning I didn't get a conditional license or anything like that, so I don't have a right to have a hearing. But all licensees do have the right for a phone conference or a dispute resolution conference, I believe it's called.
If you feel comfortable with it, would you provide a copy of that email from the department about that end of, termination of your rights?
I've learned to put everything in emails or to record,
Okay,
that way I can prove it.
thank you.
Thank you, Senator Bennett. And just to follow up on that, I will formally request that any documentation, separate timelines, anything that you say on these 3 pages that you have, I would encourage you to submit those to Sabrina Carey for the committee's review.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes Representative Mastracchio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the only question I really have is, are you still a licensed childcare provider in the state of Maine?
Yes,
So you have a current license?
yes.
Chair recognizes Senator Kine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you said that you do have a right for dispute resolution, and you did follow through with that dispute resolution?
I didn't get to have it. So I just put everything in writing and I just keep sending my issues along to my licensing specialist and then the head of childcare licensing and investigations unit.
So you still, so just so I understand, you still have one more step to take with the department, which is dispute resolution, or no?
No more steps.
Okay, but it's your understanding that you should have had
Mhm.
just some sort of dispute resolution offered to you and you were never allowed to do that. Is that, am I understanding it correctly?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
The chair recognizes Senator Dusan, followed by Senator Timberlake.
I'm connecting two things together and I want to make sure I'm not in error.
Okay.
So thank you for your patience with me. Is the you now don't have access to dispute resolution. Is that connected to the department's communication to you that because they did not take action against your license, there's nothing for you to appeal? And am I connecting that up with, so the next step I go to is that they don't believe that putting a basically negative note up on their website about your
Violation
business,
would be negative.
they don't view that as an action against your license?
No, that's not an action on my license. That's a direct plan of action that I'm supposed to follow, which then I argue it with the state because I can't change something that isn't wrong. So I can't change a policy that I have that is not in compliance. And it's really the security issue that I won't change. So I continually say, well, I'm not going to be in compliance ever. And here we are. Well,
Okay.
it's unethical to not have a security situation, and especially in these times.
The chair recognizes Senator Timberlake.
Again, Senator Dusan got to my question pretty good. No, it's a great, I love it because you phrased it probably better than I do. But I think the thing that I'm thinking here, and I'm bewildered by it, to be honest, that the department can have something up on the website about one's business that hasn't had a resolution to it, but yet they say to you in an email, we're done talking about it and we're not going to resolve it. Am I hearing that right?
Mhm.
So you
Point of
still,
order, Mr. Chair.
The
think
chair recognizes Representative Mastratio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just think we're getting a little off of the point of our public hearing here today. So I would appreciate if maybe some of this information can happen another place so that we can allow the public hearing to continue.
The chair recognizes the point of order and will address it as follows. I think that I understand our work to be, we must understand the processes that the department has as it relates to its licensees that deal with our children. And I am going to rule that we can continue this line of questioning for another few minutes because I personally am bewildered by what I'm hearing. And to the extent that the committee wishes to continue asking questions of this testifier, I'm going to allow that. That is the ruling of the chair.
and I think she answered my question, so I'm all set. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other questions from the committee? Chair recognizes Senator Tipping.
First, thank you for the childcare work you're doing against some headwinds, both specific and general here. I wanted to ask specific, I feel like we're circling in on a target here and maybe I finally understand it. Are you currently listed as non-compliant on this website? And is that your concern that people are
No.
going to see that?
My status has been changed to inactive now. It says nothing. It used to say active and now it says nothing. And I have an email questioning that as well.
Okay, I'm more confused than ever and perhaps
So am I, and I do
um,
this for a living.
the suggestion of dealing with some of this offline and providing more documentation could be helpful in resolving it.
The chair recognizes Representative Fay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What I'm hearing is the committee is really interested in some of the policies around childcare licensing. And I think at our next meeting, maybe that's a conversation that we want to talk about as we're looking at our work plan to circle back into the types of things that OPEGA is looking at. So thank you very much for bringing your concerns to us, and I apologize profusely that I wasn't here at the beginning of your testimony. So thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Kine.
Thank you. I appreciate what Representative Fay suggested. And just to put a little bit of a finer point on it, I think the concern maybe is a little bit more around retaliation than licensing. That for me anyway is my sort of further concern about this.
Chair recognizes Senator Bennett. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. I also agree that we should take this offline a little bit and some of this. And I feel that there's information that Ms. Grant could provide, and I'm wondering if it wouldn't be inappropriate, and tell me if it is, Mr. Chairman, but to ask the chairs of the committee to work with our staff and perhaps have staff, the OPEGA staff, interview Ms. Grant further about some of the specific details surrounding some of these suggestions that she's offered, the experiences that she's had. If that would be appropriate, I'd offer that.
It
as a
would be
suggestion.
appropriate for the chairs to request that of OPEGA. Is that your request?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Is there any objection from the committee to that? The chair recognizes Representative Strike.
It's not that I object to that happening, but I would really rather wait until we have an opportunity to look at it in the context of the childcare. I mean, I can direct you to other reports that we've had that OPEGA conducted around childcare and how childcare is taken care of. So I guess I'd like to get ahead of this. This is a public hearing. To me, we take that information, we come back and as a committee to direct the chairs to do something and look into something that we've heard one side of at this point in a public hearing. In many ways, we're used to that. I'm just saying that I object to that happening this quickly.
Thank you. Objection so noted. Are there any other questions for Ms. Grant? Seeing none, thank you very much for being willing
Thank you very
to
much.
tell us what's going on, at least in your case. Is Victoria Bose here? Please step forward. Good morning.
Good one. Mine's
Please.
short.
If you could please sign in here. And, say your name and tell us where you are from, and then you may begin your testimony as soon as you are ready.
Hello.
Thank you. Good morning.
My name is Victoria Bose, and I live in Warren. And I am the paternal grandmother of 3-year-old Maddox Williams. Maddox was one of the 4 children that died in June of 2021. After sitting through the OPEGA report on February 10th, I am deeply disturbed with the outcome of the OPEGA report regarding 3-year-old Haley Godden. OFCS ignored the common sense warnings signs after the first overdose in 2020 of Haley, as they had done numerous times with my grandson Maddox. My understanding is that similar to my family, Haley's family warned DHHS about the dangers of reunification with Haley and her mother. Both Maddox and Haley should have been starting kindergarten this fall. Instead, they're both forever 3. The bottom line is OCFS failed to recognize that Haley, like Maddox and so many other children, were placed back in an unsafe environment, like they have done many times before. Maddox matters, Haley matters. I matter, says the frightened child with an open DHHS case. I matter, said the fearful child with a closed DHHS case, living in an unsafe environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Thank you.